When?
But when? Okay. We're about to rehouse two Poecilotherial rufilata juveniles. Can't say I'm really looking forward to this one, but hopefully it'll go smoothly. I picked these up from Jamie's on April 20th. They were about an inch long. And as I usually do with my arboreal slings, I put them into one of these 32-ounce deli containers with the cork bark leaning on the side. I start off with moist substrate and then let it dry out a little bit and would re-moisten it. I did have water dishes in here. I plucked this one out. There's another one in there. They kept burying them up. Poecilotheria species, a lot of people don't realize this. They get them, and I get a lot of emails going, my Poecilotheria isn't being arboreal. It isn't sitting out in the open. It's burrowing. They like to hide when they're younger, and they will often burrow underneath. Or what they'll do with the cork bark, and I also put in some sphagnum moss, is they'll use the sphagnum moss to kind of make these dirt curtains around here, and they'll hide underneath there. I actually have some, my Hanema Velissimicas actually burrowed right down to the bottom, have little burrows. So don't be alarmed if you get a Poecilotheria species and you get it as a sling and the first thing it does is burrow. That's totally normal behavior. So what we're going to do now is try to get this cork bark out. These guys are very, very skittish. They do have a heck of a bite, and see if we can't get them in here without any issues. So we'll start. I have no idea how this is going to go. A lot of times they'll just cower in the bottom. And this one's cowering in the bottom. There's his legs. And what I want it to do is go up. Like that. All right. All right, so it's out of the old one. There's a molt in there. Try to do this without getting a pokey cannon. I'm going to bilious cyst. These guys are probably about 3.5 inches. I think one's a male, one's a female, because one's a lot larger than the other one. They both molted about 3 weeks ago, and I've been fattening them up a little bit. But they're getting a little too big for those enclosures. And everybody that watched my review earlier on the European style enclosures, these are one of the ones they use for arboreal and fossorial. I bought two of them, had them in the garage waiting to use them. And I think this will be good species to do them with because I like the fact they're nice and open. I like that for arboreal species, so I have more room to work. So, all right, enough talking. I'm going to try to get this one in here. All right. Move that for a second because I'm going to try to put it down and then and of course you're going to go back up the other way. Of course. All right. Move that for a second. And right back up. Go ahead and put that down. She gets out, she gets out. There we go. The whole trick, and again, I get a lot of people go, just blow on them, whatever. My whole thing for these guys is to try not to panic them. And I have done the blowing thing right there. It didn't work sometimes. My trick is I don't care if they take 20 minutes as long as the thing doesn't bolt. I had the rare experience the other day where I was home alone and doing some feeding, and I was going to get some video of my T. gigas feeding, and I accidentally startled her, and she was out off the table on my foot and across the floor faster than I could blink. So these are guys that generally you don't want to catch them moving or get them all jacked up because they're all very, very difficult to handle once they get a little speed burst. So there's one down. I'm going to go ahead and put a water dish in. I'll fill this later. Now she'll probably be in here for a couple molts more, and then she'll go into her permanent home, which will probably be pretty large because these are a very, very, this is a very, very big species. They get to be 9-10 inches and gorgeous. Hopefully I'll get pictures of her. All right, so we'll just go ahead here and do the other one and pray it goes just as well. Get a nice picture of these now because these guys, the arboreals, tend to poop all over everything, which I actually later this weekend have to go and clean some. All right, so let's just get an idea where she is. This one's burrowed. It'll be fun. Cap back on this, so I'm going to run the palm of my hand. This is the one I think has the dead cricket in there because I got those little teeny gnats. All right. Well, this might be the female. The other one's the bigger one. Usually what I try to do is angle them behind the cork bark because they'll hunker down there and they'll bolt. But creating suspense. And my voice is a little funny because I did get my first cold of the year, it seems, for teaching. I think West Coast and Arachnids and I have been going back and forth about when I was going to get my first cold, and it happened. Grab the cover and just get it ready. They always do that. Make sure my fingers are in there. And there's, I love them. They're so cute with the big fluffy feet. She's being really stubborn. Oh, no, that was perfect. And underneath. Okay, she's in. He's in. Boom. I don't know if you can see her. And this is what I usually try to do is put the sphagnum underneath the cork bark because what she'll do is start building her home right in there. Feel nice and secure and won't be as likely to bolt. But again, these guys will be in here for a while. Right now they look to be about 3.5 inches or so. That one looked more the 3 mark. That one looked more the 3.5 inch mark. So we'll see if I got a male and a female. That would be nice. And then once they get probably about 4.5, it'll probably be a molt or two. They'll be big enough they'll go into their permanent houses. But these guys have been really, really fast growers. They were taking down full crickets or large crickets when they were only about 1.75 inches long. I mean, they're vicious hunters. And I found with the Poecilotherial species so far, these guys are a little bit more flighty and a little bit more skittish than some of the other ones I have. They're one of the few I've had that have actually done the bolts around their enclosures after getting disturbed. But it seems like if you let them get, hunkered down behind something or in their burrows and you feed them, they're fine. So it's something to think about if you're doing maintenance. But again, really can't wait till these guys get to be 10 inches or so. That's going to be amazing. Not looking forward to rehousing them when they're that size, but it'll be an adventure, and of course we'll videotape it. So Poecilotherial rufilata. Oh, again, we started off here just with the moist substrate. For my pokies, I do let it dry out in between, but they always have a water dish that I keep clean and filled, which can be difficult sometimes because they like to use them as garbage bins. But I will let it dry out in between, and then when I fill the water dish, I will make it rain in one corner, kind of moisten it down and give them a spot to have either a moist spot or a dry spot. Wintertime, it is going to get rather hot in here with the heater running all the time, so it's going to dry out the enclosures more, so I'm a little more diligent during the winter time because I don't want them to get too dry. So there we go, Poecilotherial rufilata, or the Redslate Ornamental. She's all hiding in there. If you want to kick the light on, see if we can get this one. No, just kind of all tucked in there. That's one I think might be male. Gorgeous species, and again, I'll do an update when these guys get a little bit bigger. I was hoping to kind of get a picture of one, but I'm not going to play around. Again, my goal when I do the rehousings is to not have somebody take off. That T-Gigas the other day was an anomaly and funny after the fact, but not a lot of fun during the time.